Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for being here. In just a moment, where I'm going to dive into channeling. Every week, or almost every week, I channel the Pleiadian Council here. I've been channeling for 9 years. This is Heart Flow Healing Transmissions. These messages are for your personal awakening and to break through in your own journey. If there's areas of blind spot, confusion, where you want to open up on your path, heal some recurring challenge of emotions in your body, or a situation that needs clarity in your life. We welcome those questions. We welcome questions about other realms. I am getting lost between the different apps that I need to start the transmission, as usual when we begin, because as per, you can always, okay, I already did that. You can always get the link to join the transmission in the YouTube live chat. And once I get all the links in the right place, we begin. When you're not speaking, make sure that you're muted. It makes sure that we don't have too much sound interference. The questions are as they roll, popcorn style. After the transmission begins, you can unmute yourself. We prioritize questions that come into the Zoom because live interactions often go for much deeper. And we still take questions from the YouTube chat. And usually we go with the most exciting questions first, but you never know. Sometimes it'll just happen in the order it happens. And what else do I need to say? Go to heartflowtransmissions.com and you can find out all about the sessions I offer, and I teach a channeling course. I just released a book that is basically the transcript of all of the past channeling sessions over the past 8 or 7 years. It's a complete journey, and it goes into how to align with our higher self through our heart's calling, and how to transform our lives and our relationships through cultivating this energy of both compassion and discernment. It's a lot about discovering our beliefs and how we can better relate to others and integrate passion to embody your purpose. And those who have read it have been really touched by it, even though they've already listened to these transcripts. It's kind of like, we learn through repetition, and sometimes I've listened back to some of my favorite channelings from Bashar and other teachers again and again. And by reading this book, you can kind of see the hidden parts of it and really apply it in your lives. So you can find that also in the YouTube chat, and I'd really appreciate your support with that. There's many other things coming out. And yesterday or 2 days ago, a podcast. I was on a podcast with some amazing guys. I met them first in Iceland, and we were talking about the spiritual path of awakening and my different thoughts on what's going on in the world and in the spiritual community, with many different opinions and timelines, and a bit about, entheogens of plant medicine, awakening through plant medicine, what works and what doesn't, and just, a lot more personal flow. And these kinds of podcasts and things I'm looking forward to sharing more about. So when I'm going to post to the YouTube community tab that video, I guess, or I'll put it in the description later once I edit this video if you're watching the replay. So now I'm going to start channeling, and I don't want to say too many other things beyond enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello, and we say a very exciting day to all of you. We are the Pleiadian Council. We speak on behalf of the Galactic Alliance supporting your planet in this process of evolution, ascension, and awakening, and however other term you wish to apply to it. Now, this transmission has been entitled The Ultimate Red Pill. And it's really about recognizing that the red pill is within your own body. You escape the matrix within your own body and nervous system. And this is ultimately what this film guides you to recognize. Now, artists are in a way channels as well. They channel the language of archetypal spiritual reality in different forms to different capacities. The same story of the process of awakening and returning to the source is told in a variety of ways from certain stories that perfectly capture what some have called a hero's journey. And this is the soul that this is the journey rather, that each soul goes on. They are using their own intelligence to act on their heart's excitement to the best of their ability and dropping insistence on an outcome to recognize their oneness with the source and serve a higher purpose. And so in this transmission, we want to use this film as a mirror reflection of everything that we've already taught you. So you can also open your eyes to see that the whole universe is telling you the same story, whether or not those speaking and creating the art know that they are channeling the universe in this way is different from creator to creator. Though we would say that we were quite sure that these writers knew what they were doing. Now, it begins with Neo, who represents the conscious self. Though the different characters will come to represent many different overlapping energies that can be interpreted from multiple levels of reality and multiple dimensions. And we will get to that. So the conscious self is first drawn to curiosity, to discover something new because of a very uncomfortable realization. I might not know everything. I might not realize the complete truth. There may be something out there that's missing. Thus, this is where the journey begins. And this is where the journey has to forever continue. It isn't that you wake up to the truth and you take the red pill and then you've made it. It's actually a continual process of all of the steps involved that are demonstrated step by step through this series. And yes, there will be spoilers. So if you're not interested in that, you can turn off the channel and we won't mind. So now that first step must be continued forever. You have to, again, recognize I might not be seeing everything here. The picture might be bigger than what I actually realize. And that feeling of a perhaps sort of unsettledness, a dissatisfaction with the status quo is a necessary feeling to be in touch with, to maintain that openness, to take a different path and make a different choice. It is going out of the character's normal routine that brings him to that moment of decision. Do I take the red pill or do I take the blue pill? And again, that same first choice is echoed again. Do I stay in the box of everything that's familiar to me and everything that I already know is certain, or do I really want to know the truth? Then, as Neo wakes up and recognizes the truth itself is actually quite shocking. And this is where the first relationship dynamic begins through Neo and Morpheus, the student and the teacher. Yet, just as much, this is representing a spiritual dance between what you might call the inner self and the archetypal masculine, the Shiva quality, the transcendent consciousness, the conscious mind. There's many different ways that you can see this role. And so the first test is, how do I see my beliefs and recognize the workings of my own consciousness? There are many different ways that this is alluded to in the film, like the experience of glitches, What are these glitches when something appears multiple times, or appears and disappears, or the variety of different ways that the matrix itself bends due to perhaps the movement of characters through different places, the high intensity experiences, and their own lapses in memory. This is the way that your own body mind is continually tricking you. And this is essentially one of the deep teachings about the idea of the matrix in general. You don't completely see reality. Much of what you perceive is your own reconstructing belief systems, the sort of inner narrative that you've already built, filling the gap when there is uncertainty and when there is unknown. And this is why in our transmissions, we always talk about the sheer importance of becoming aware of your belief systems, recognizing that they are optional, recognizing that the ultimate reality is both loving and neutral, and gives you choice to decide which beliefs you want to choose to use to perceive reality, nonetheless recognizing that all of your beliefs are distorting your experience of reality and shaping what you see. You are to use this to your advantage so that you can start to consciously choose what it is becomes the nature of your experience. And thus, learning how to move through the matrix and bend the laws of time and space is just as much a reflection of on the journey of self-empowerment, of spiritual awakening. At each step of the way, you have to challenge yourself to recognize that you are more than who you thought you were, and try a different activity out. Challenge yourself to go beyond what you once thought was possible. And so there comes to be a very important third person creating a Trinity, literally called Trinity. And there's many different reasons that this name is present. And the obvious first is that these three characters represent the Holy Trinity of the inner energies that must come together for the process of self-realization and spiritual awakening to take place. And thus you have the conscious self, the archetypal masculine, the archetypal feminine, represented by Trinity. And this feminine quality is the quality of feeling, knowledge, intuition, heart. It is Trinity's love for Neo and his love for her that keeps him engaged in the process. As Neo eventually comes to encounter his own doubts, he holds himself back and starts to lack his own faith in himself. In doing so, his dearest object of affection becomes an object of projection. He starts to see all of his own qualities in her. Nonetheless, the dance back and forth between them is what keeps Zion itself alive. They need to listen to their own feelings, even if it takes them through a back and forth of seeming errors, seeming mistakes, to finally be able to overcome together. It is the power of that love that is the driving engine. And this is the part of the film that points out the fact of the matter is that with the power of the intellect that can decipher, move through, and choose new beliefs alone, you cannot actually make it through the course of your journey. You need just as much the feminine feeling quality, your ability to listen to your heart and do what feels right to you, even if it goes against what seems to be the right thing. In doing so, you operate as a part of a larger intelligence. And without that quality of connecting with your true inner heart, you cannot bring about the real lasting transformation. Nonetheless, this only reflects the inner journey within the self. And there are many outer obstacles and other sorts of teachers. The first and very important one is the oracle, who represents the quality of deep intuition and subconscious knowing. The oracle knows what Neo is about to do before he does it. Just as much, there is a deep part of your own your own unconscious, yes, that knows you better than you know yourself. This part of you is one step ahead of you all the time. And it can predict the future perfectly because it's only basing itself off of the observations of the patterns you're already running. And in this way, the oracle represents the faded connection with the subconscious. As you start to go in your journey, you come to recognize that no matter what you do, things always happen the way that they happen. Some force out of your control directs you. And even this oracle sometimes seems to misguide you. The oracle, in the end, didn't tell Neo that he was the one. She told him that he was right. He was not the one. And this also points to the true function of your subconscious and your own intuition. Many of you start to think that just because your gut feeling led you in a direction that you didn't prefer, your gut feeling was wrong. But the truth of the matter is the exact story had to involve all of the different ups and downs and specific events that it involved for the actual climax and definitive moment to play out the way that it did. And so in this way, the oracle and your own subconscious recognize that if it defies what you already believe to be true about yourself in its reflection, it is not actually going to send you on the path of transformation that will lead to your highest destiny. And in this way, you can come to see both the wise intelligence of your intuition, but its inherent fallacy. You are guided intuitively where you need to be going, but you might project, I need to be going there, and there will be no obstacles on the way to get there. And your intuition sometimes sends you headfirst into an obstacle, and you get very frustrated. But you don't recognize that your own intuition sent you into that obstacle the moment that you encountered it, because you would learn a lesson and you would be delayed. And that obstacle would prevent you from encountering an even worse and more devastating obstacle that would have been waiting for you had you not been a little bit delayed on your path. And while your conscious mind will never know that, you have no idea how many times your subconscious seemingly sabotaged you, but ultimately ended up bringing you to the path that you really needed for your own highest evolution. And so, in this way, surrendering to the oracle is about the deep honoring of your own subconscious mind and patterns. And so, as we have said, Trinity is, yes, a character that represents the Trinity of the three necessary functions of the soul and the psyche that come together for the awakening to happen. The third, in a way, the most essential for that passion in the first place to guide you. And so Trinity, nonetheless, also represents the unification of all of the different qualities of these characters. Trinity possesses what the Oracle has, in addition to what Morpheus and Neo have. And in this way, Trinity is also a pointer to the importance of the rising of the feminine energy on the planet and the expression of women, as Trinity is holding the balance of the deep connection to psychic intuition, as well as the ability to actively change your beliefs and direct your power to achieve a goal. And so now we get to another even more interesting layer, where the three characters actually represent the three parts of the formula. And so it is Trinity that represents the first part, act on your highest excitement. It is Trinity's presence and Neo's love for Trinity again and again that calls him to action and brings him to believe in himself. So this again points to a more ancient wisdom that, well, if it's ancient, we're not sure. Yes, it is more ancient than the traditions that exist in your world. It is also cosmic and transcendent of space and time, that your heart's calling is the essence of your connection to the divine. And so you cannot use the mind and the ego to know what your higher purpose is. Only the heart guides you to that. Now, Morpheus represents the ability to do what you need to do at your highest capacity. Follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability, as he is the one who holds the master keys. He is the one who gives Neo the key of the master belief, that you can change your beliefs. And thus integrating the teaching and the drive of Morpheus is essential for Neo to be able to recognize his own power. And finally, Neo represents the last and the most important part of the formula, the one that many people forget: have no insistence on a particular outcome. As in the end of the film, Neo is in a battle with the recurring figure that multiplies itself. This Smith figure represents belief systems, narratives, and stories, and samskaras. It represents the ego. In the simulation, you don't actually see reality. Every time that you generate momentum and you shift from one state of consciousness to another, you generate glitches. You start to misperceive the world around you. When you know how to channel your belief systems, you know how to use these glitches for your better and not mistake visions for reality. Instead, you are able to work with illusion to shape reality itself. However, in order to get there, you have to learn how to battle the aspects of your own mind, your ego stories. And once you develop the power to be able to confront them and defeat them and match their speed, then they actually become more powerful. As in, yes, the first film, Neo enters an epic battle with the Smith agent and defeats him through integrating the power that Morpheus has given him. And thus, Neo feels as if he has won, but the Smith becomes even more powerful because it becomes deleted or freed from the code of the Matrix itself. And thus, Smith gains unlimited power. It gains the ability to manifest as any person in the Matrix and change the nature of the Matrix itself. This represents the process of awakening, that in the moment that you start to recognize you are powerful and you are capable of overcoming your own beliefs and stories. The beliefs and stories get stronger in their response to that expanded state of awareness. And so you have to go through that journey then of learning how to trust your heart regardless of the fact of the intensity of the battle of your own egoic belief systems against yourself. And this is the constant story that the Smiths say. You're not in control of any of this. You don't matter. Everything is pointless. You are nothing. This is the same kind of inner narrative that must be overcome to fully transform. Yet the last scene shows the way that this actually happens. Neo cannot battle the Smiths the entire series. Eventually, the Smiths overpower him because they manifest into every being around him. And thus, ultimately, Neo lets himself go. He lets the Smith push his hand into his body and effectively, yes, kill him. However, as this happens, and the Smith enters Neo, the architect or the creator of the Matrix itself, the source of it, is able to tap into Smith through Neo and delete him from the program entirely, allowing for the Matrix to be reset and for the world on Earth and Zion to be lightened just a little bit. The entire film represents what happens when you let go of one layer of your ego. For a moment, the world gets a bit brighter. Yet, as pointed to in the later continuation of the series, it doesn't end there. And you have to continue to do all of that same effort to continue making the world lighter, brighter, and bring more of that source energy into reality. Now, we may also say that this is a deep expression of how you may ultimately transcend yourself. It is the three things together, as we've continued to tell you. You have to trust that what you're called to for a reason. And this doesn't mean dreaming about a life that you can't live and just feeling good while you're dreaming. It means in this present moment, what can you do that makes you feel more alive, more focused, more in the flow of love continuously? That is following your heart. Doing it to the best of your ability means changing the way you think, changing what you do, learning something new, continuously engaging in that curiosity to go beyond what you once thought you were and what you think you know, to learn more and master the art of letting go of your resistance and insistence on outcomes. And thus, as you finally do that, you actually have to stop fighting the ego itself. And that doesn't mean you give into the ego and let the ego speak through you. It means you let go of your own attachment to who you think you are. So in the moment, that might mean that instead of trying to push away thoughts and emotions flowing into your experience, that you instead embrace them. Surrendering to the Smith agent and resetting the matrix literally means when you feel a rush of energy flowing through you, instead of pushing it away and resisting it, that you fully embrace it and become more present with it. Because in doing that, you reset the pattern that put that energy there in the first place. Resetting the matrix is when you hear yourself looping a story. You don't fight against the story. Instead, you're present with it long enough, with enough compassion, that you're able to open to that curiosity to gradually change the story. So resistance is when you try to change the story or try to change the emotional state without compassion, acceptance, or understanding. It's the rushing energy that is panicked that something is wrong with you for encountering the ego and the beliefs that are present. This fear and this panic just as much is coming from another sort of ego state, another sort of tense, trapped energy. And you cannot escape ego by generating more ego. You cannot free yourself from fear by being afraid of fear. You have to let go and let yourself surrender completely. And there is a perfect parallel to this in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. The practice called feeding your demons was a way that the Buddhist monks would help people heal from their suffering, their sicknesses, their diseases, and their emotional burdens by visualizing that the trapped pain and emotions in their being. become as an externalized entity, a demon sitting in front of them. In this visionary state, they befriend the demon. They get to know what this pain is really about. Then they do a role reversal with the demon. They see themselves from the demon's perspective. This is crucial, and this is what your world is missing. You demonize other people, but you don't allow yourselves to look back at yourself through the eyes of those you have cast as demons. The truth is that none of you are completely demonic at all. And so now, in this process, the next step is for the practitioner of Char, the Tibetan Buddhist practice of feeding your demons, to allow themselves to be consumed by the demon. And as the demon consumes them, they dissolve their own body into light. The demon consumes the nectar of immortality, the energy of the source that flows through the person, and satisfies the demon until the demon itself transforms into a deity, into a god, into light. And thus, through this process, you come to see and experience that even the darkness, that even the contrast, that even the heaviness is an expression of the light and is essential for wholeness. And so there is an eerie, epic parallel between this practice and the final scene of The Matrix itself. Neo allows the demon of Smith to completely penetrate him. And in doing so, the nectar of the source flows through Neo and consumes the demon. The demon that had endless infinite power is vanquished instantaneously through the power of the source. Thus, the true one who has the power to conquer and conquest all negative entities is the one who completely knows themselves to be endlessly, infinitely connected to the source and embody that wisdom in all that they do. Thus, you have now seen how the Trinity reflects to you the Trinity you must enact in every moment of acting on your highest excitement to the best of your ability without insisting on a particular outcome. And thus you have seen that the actual enemy is your own ego, your own fears. And finally, we can say that we must remind you that taking the red pill is just the first step. In your world, there have been so many people who have taken this language and made endless meme plexes about it. This and that is a red pill. This and that is a red pill. This is the truth. But remember, what led Neo to find the red pill in the first place? It's the sense that he didn't actually know and was empty. And you have to get comfortable with that empty state of unknowing. That practice of meditation is to bring you endlessly into that empty state of unknowing, the beginner's mind. And thus, in that state, you are able to actually open to the truth. It's when you sit in your curiosity with the unknowing that a new pathway and a new belief is able to form. It's when you think you know that you become the most egoic and rigid in your thinking and you don't let source in. So if you think that you're handing anyone a red pill of the ultimate truth and that you know better than them, you are not awake at all. You're only deceiving yourself. And just as much, it is very ironic to say that, or to know that in your world, there's so many people who love this idea of red pilling, yet get into conspiracy notions about the idea of transgender people when the creators of the film itself are transgender. The journey of the hero of returning onto the source for them involved changing the expression of their gender. And that was their own way of returning onto the source and letting go of the Smith voices, the ego stories of who they should be that they inherited from the world. And you can see that no matter the journey that somebody is on, everyone is on this journey of having the boldness to be so courageous to follow Trinity, even though you have fear and doubt, to be so bold and courageous that you're willing to risk everything and give yourself over to the endless battle with your fear in the name of serving a higher purpose. To be so bold that even if people will judge you and demean you, that you say yes to being exactly who you are. And that is, in and of itself, one of the most bold and powerful things that any being can do. And so we must leave with that final message that anyone who thinks that they are of the love and the light, yet they demean, judge, and spread hatred or fear about others, is the most deluded person at all, and is taking nothing but blue pills, numbing themselves to their own internalized pain and fear. And that, we would say, is something that we hope to change, and part of why we come to your world to deliver this transmission today, to help you see things from another angle, to help you wake up and recognize that in order to truly transform, you have to take the red pill again and again every day, and embrace the fact that you might not actually know everything. And thus, as is with everything we do, adjust this reflection to your own understanding and use any such tale as a way of seeing that journey in and of itself. We call it acting on your highest passion to the best of your ability without insisting on an outcome to know yourself as the source. Some call it the hero's journey, and some will call it something more complex. Though in the end, it's all the same thing, and we hope that you can see that. So we thank you very much for allowing us to share this message with you at this time. And now we ask, in what way can we be of service with your questions, comments, musings, or inquiries, beginning whenever you would like?
Wow, thank you so much for such a profound transmission. Let's see if there's anyone in the Zoom room who wants to jump in with a question.
All right.
Otherwise, down at the channel, posted a question somebody had wrote in advance, so I'm going to read that.
All right.
It says, I feel like I am having issues getting a job that I love and that support me financially. I like working with children and nature, but the work doesn't last long enough to cover all my bills. I don't have any of the qualifications necessary to apply for the jobs that may interest me, and I'm in my 50s. What can you advise as I feel lost on the subject of work a lot of the time? Thanks.
Well, as always, we would say stay excited, and this is an exciting opportunity. And you can use it as such if you would like. First, we would say that it can be all right that you work all sorts of different kinds of jobs, and not every way that you make money has to be the most exciting thing. If it brings you to feel a sense of safety and stability, that's very important. It's necessary to feel grounded in your being so that when you do the things that excite you, that you don't get distracted by fear and that you continue to persist. So for some, that means taking some time out to making sure they have enough money that they feel safe. And not every job that you do is going to be the most exciting one, but you will be able to get more exciting jobs and work with time the more that you fill your own frequency with the energy of excitement. So that must mean that even if you aren't working a job that you love, that you make sure that you use all of the free time that you have available to you to raise your frequency through doing the things that are exciting for you. Now, someone who has become popular as a musician, artist, or healer might seem as if they just got it from the start and that they're all just so lucky doing the things that they like to do. But everybody who's gotten anywhere has gotten there over a long period of time. They've done it by doing what they've loved and sharing it boldly, even when they felt afraid. And over time, through trial and error, their skills got better and better. And more people came to them because what they offered benefited them. So if what you're thinking as a job is something that involves your creativity, your insight, your healing powers, or something of this nature, then you absolutely have to put all of your time into doing that as much as you can so that you can really engage in that path. Just as much you have to work on your own belief systems. You're already projecting into the future reality that people aren't going to be interested in hiring you. And you have to be more hopeful, even perhaps a little bit delusional. Be so hopeful and excited that you might get any different sort of job that you go on a spree of applying to all of them. Don't let doubt hold you back. Go instead with what you feel about it. Do you feel as if you'd like to do it? Then apply. And don't let any delays or issues in the process slow you down. Just keep choosing to put yourself out there regardless of what happens. And finally, we'll also say that applying the formula also means doing the things you do in the ways that it excites you. So in your free time, make sure that you bring smiles to what you do and whistle while you work. Find ways to spice up the day. And we would also say it's very important to do something a little bit different. When you're finding yourself facing some recurring thoughts and they repeat and loop, you just have to do something differently so that you can think something differently. Your thoughts and your actions are always intimately interwoven, and you will never start thinking something different if you don't choose a different path or pattern. So if some of you have a very routine day and you do the same thing at the same time again and again, well, we would say that's fine in general. But if you ever find yourself stuck thinking the same things and feeling the same things, and it's not what you prefer, then just start to change up the way your day flows. It can mean changing one activity every day and doing something a little bit different. As you start to do that, you create an open space where your brain stops filling in yesterday's predictions in the moment. And in order to think something different, you have to create some level of that uncertainty. It likens back into what we were talking about in the opening transmission. To really take the red pill, you have to start to see that there's something that you're not seeing. The idea of waking up to the truth requires that you first see the fact that you don't see something. So this beginner's mind, this awareness that you don't know, and willingness to explore the ways that you don't know something is very key. Anytime you hear yourself saying that I can't have this or this isn't going to happen, question the storyteller and ask if you can be really sure that it's true. And remember that your beliefs create your reality. So question the certainty of your beliefs and choose a different one.
Wow, amazing. I believe Felix in the Zoom room has a question for you.
Thank you. Hello, thank you for being here. So we just talked about working, right, and jobs and everything. And I was wondering if you had a statement concerning money in general, because like I imagine that maybe in a distant future money won't be a thing anymore. So I have that image, but right now it seems to be very important and everything. And do you have a perspective on money and how we will or could evolve without it maybe?
Well, before we get to that, we have to say that the present moment is obviously always where everything begins. Following your excitement begins in the present moment. So the basis of everything we teach you is about coming back to the present moment. And in this moment, you still need money. And so it's better to embrace that than fantasizing about the future too much. But yes, use that vision of your future to inform your actions in the day-to-day basis. And so a future world without money first requires a world that is just, fair, and balanced. And your world is in nowhere near that at this time. There's a massive divide of power where less than 1% of the population controls the largest degree of wealth and influences the world in a way that leads to the disempowerment of many beings. And so in this way, you're very far away from the idea of going beyond money, because money itself is the system that divides power and disempowers many. And so you first of all have to create more of an equal playing field. And there's many different ways that this might first be implemented. In some countries, it might start with the idea of a universal basic income being given to all citizens. At first, universal basic income will be given to specific aspects of the population for specific purposes as a way to experiment and prove that this system, this model, guarantees for greater happiness. And when there is more happiness, there is more synergy and therefore more productivity and results. It goes against the capitalist model that creates mixed and often maligned results due to the presence of fear and pressure as a driving force for motivation. Now, moving forward as well, there will have to be the idea of a world without borders. And this is crucial, as borders are another way that power is divided and consolidated. And so as you get to that place where there is a unity among peoples, then you get closer and closer to a world without money. There just as much has to be many different sorts of shuffling with how your different transportation systems work and energy sources work, and so on and so forth. It is a long journey. And we would say that right now we are, or you are, in a phase where you are still developing holistic consciousness. Humanity has still not grasped the idea that you are not individuals. You still think in terms of being separate beings, but actually you are part of one larger field. And this sense that you are separate and that you must, in that way, control or punish others rather than develop yourself and consider yourself as a holistic being, a being of relationships and connection to spaces, times, and frequencies, rather than a person with a personality, then your world will change. So go beyond the idea of being a person if you want to see a world without money. The less you start to see yourself as a person, the more that equal playing field will be created. You will realize there are no others. You will realize that what serves your best interest serves the best interest of others. And you will realize what serves the best interest of others serves your own best interests. And in this way, you will live with less of a sense of self. You will think less about yourself, and you will recognize that you don't necessarily know as much about yourself as you thought you did. As you become this type of a being and this type of an energy, you'll eventually get to a world that doesn't have money. And that kind of attitude and energy will make you a person that is able to navigate the world, integrating the concept of money in a way that's very different from other people, that perhaps might mean that you don't have to work as hard or work in a conventional way, because your holistic understanding of things allows you to experience abundance in unconventional ways. And again, remember that abundance is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And we're not saying that we suggest this because it does involve a higher level of difficulty, but remember that there's many people out there in the world who already experience the idea of abundance without money. There's a certain idea of deep countercultural movements and alternative lifestyles, back to the land and so on, that perhaps money itself isn't necessary when you know how to be resourcefully connected to community, to the land, to the world and the power within you itself. We're not saying we're suggesting it, but we're saying that these people are examples of the clear teaching that we demonstrate, that abundance itself is not money. And so in order to become the kind of being that leads to a world without money, you have to integrate that concept of abundance and recognize that you're already abundant. Once you start to recognize it and appreciate it, then you will be able to attract far more abundance.
Thank you. I had this lag. This was wonderful. I will listen to the recording definitely because I need to take a moment with all the nice words. Sorry, my English is so basic. Anyway,
That's all right. Thanks to you. Yes.
All right, that's
I would like to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's Laura.
Yeah.
Hi. I've been working as a Reiki healer for many, many years now, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get emotional. I'm just going to let it happen. So I know not everything, of course, and I've been given several different modalities throughout the years to help others. And as I try to use these modalities to help myself, I find I'm blocking myself because I don't know. I keep saying if it's in the highest good, it's in the highest good. So I'm trying not to limit anything, but I feel like there's limits and somehow I'm not open enough or something. I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's my kidneys. I'm starting. I'm on the list. I've been on the transplant list for a year, so I'm looking for a live donor. That's my ultimate goal: is finding a live donor. But as I'm going along and waiting for that and putting out my intentions for the highest good and for the perfect person to come and all of that, I'm waiting, and I feel like I'm stuck and I'm not doing enough, or is there something else I should be doing or could be doing? And is it the herbs that will help me? Is it the vibrations that will help me? Is it the stones, gems that will help me? You know what I mean? There's so many different modalities, and I want to find the one or ones that will help me. And I mean, I suppose my ultimate goal is that my kidneys are coming back to life. I mean, and I know that I'm the goddess of my world, and what I say goes in my world, and I try to put it out there using the correct words, and I'm so obsessed about that. It has to be the correct words, and
This is the problem. This is what we need to do. So first of all, the idea that this or that modality heals me is in a way partial, because part of what heals you is your own excitement. And this is why we say follow your excitement. The placebo is known to be one of the most effective treatments because when people take it, they feel a sense of trust and satisfaction that allows their body to relax. And this is why we say follow your highest excitement, because when you do what comes naturally for you, your body will relax. And so the key is in that notion, relaxing. You just need to allow yourself to breathe deeper, to feel softer, to feel a degree of compassion. And so remember that when we are suggesting, manipulating the idea of your language, whether it be your thoughts or your words, to create a state of healing, all we're doing is helping you to change your beliefs. Now, if you repeat a thought that's different than a thought you normally think, that is literally just step one. That doesn't really do very much for you. You know that a belief has changed when you're taking an action that is different than the action you've taken before. This is because beliefs lead you to take the actions that you take. Everything you do because you believe it serves you. So changing your beliefs is just as much tied to what we always say, change your actions. Do what excites you. It's not that this or that or the other modality is the perfect one for you. It's that your heart aligns with it. Do you need a crystal to heal your physical body? Well, not necessarily. That isn't necessarily the most aligned permission slip, but if it's something that you personally believe in, then it will work for you. Though the issue is that you're struggling to believe, but you're trying too many different things. And so it's better to do just one thing that you deeply believe in than 10 different things that you don't trust. Because if you do 10 different things that you don't trust, you're literally just wasting your time. Now, this leads us back to a more important thing, that you have to fully and completely believe in yourself. And this means, in this case, believing in your deserving. And so the idea being here that you're not completely putting yourself out there as much in the idea of looking for a donor as you could, because a part of you doesn't fully yet believe that you deserve it. And therefore, by expanding your sense of deserving and allowing yourself to own your own needs, you can have a greater capacity to feel aligned and confident in sharing what your needs are and asking for this vital connection to your health and to your life in that way. Now, beyond all of this, which is probably the most important thing we can say in the core of our response, the obvious answer is yes, drinking more water. It's also incorporating light exercise and having a diverse diet of lots of different vegetables. It's continuing the supplements that you know work, and also exploring some new different options just to see what your body does in response. To keep opening and trying new things, recognizing that you may find great healing through exploring new ideas that you're curious about. If you've tried something again and again and you don't necessarily enjoy doing it or feel that it's done something that great, that's a great indicator that your own deeper beliefs aren't necessarily in alignment with it at this time. So find out whatever you most deeply believe is the right thing for you, and more completely give your trust over it, and give your trust to yourself that you deserve it and it will happen when it needs to happen. Remember that your thoughts are just static energy. They are just a window into what your beliefs are. And you need to see your beliefs so that you can change your actions. But if you can already take a step to change your actions right now, it's not that important to look at your beliefs, because you already have the power to do something different. And that in and of itself will lead you to the development of better beliefs.
Okay. Yeah, that word doubt came up, and the tears started again. So yeah, that's something I need to dig into, I think, for sure.
Yes, into that one again, but is there any way we can clarify it a little bit now?
I don't know. My head is spinning. There was so much information. I'll have to go back and listen to that again.
Though you know the core of it is honor what's true for you and believe in yourself, correct?
Correct. Right.
And you know the core of it is focus on what allows you to be more relaxed and more open, and don't get narrowed into a specific box of what you need to do.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
As long as
got it.
we'll let it all sink in if you listen to it again. Something more?
Okay. Nope, that's it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yes.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Thank you for this transmission.
Oh, thanks to you. Yes.
I went to a retreat, shifting to your greatest timeline. When we do these meditations in group, concentrated focus energy, do we shift automatically, or reality has to logically make sense in our mind in order for us to shift? Like, is there a building up to that momentum in my reality that I have to create to shift, or it just happens?
There's often a momentum, but there's just as often an instantaneous shift. Again, realize that once you change your beliefs, you become a completely different person. And now there's a few different types of shifts in beliefs that might happen. What you're describing when you're doing this kind of meditation and you visualize a possibility that you've never seen before, in these something lights up in you and you start to see yourself as more capable than you've ever seen yourself before. That moment plants a seed, and over time you water it and you continue to return to it. Though that's just as much a choice for you. Sometimes, again, you can start to adopt a new belief, but you plant the seed in your garden and you don't water it. So say if you have this kind of experience where you visualize something incredible happening, but you went back home and then you continue to visualize negative timelines and dismal futures, then you would be putting more energy into, again, limiting beliefs. So that is also the power of this, is that you always have choice. But remember, the language of physical reality is actions. And so your beliefs have changed once you start doing different actions. And the idea of doing permission slips like visualizations and processes to change your beliefs is to help you see yourself in a new way, develop a new belief system that then allows you to change your approach to the actions you're already taking, or start to take different types of actions that you've never thought of before.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm just working with adapting to different ways of seeing things, and I think the more, I'm kind of trading right now on the market. The more I trade, the more I learn, the more I grow. But I do hit these like kind of emotional, I don't even know what it's called, where I have a lot of wisdom in me, and I say, okay, you know what, it doesn't matter, because I see a lot of also horrible things in the hospital where I work at. It doesn't matter if I live or die. It doesn't matter if this happens or that happens. I mean, what kind of place am I in when I think of that? Because I feel like everything is okay. Everything's okay. Sorry.
Conscious. When you say it doesn't matter, you're actually getting to a deeper core truth. So don't worry about that. It really doesn't matter. From Source's perspective, none of it matters. If you died right now, Source would go on Source, and people would be sad, of course, but the universe takes care of itself. So when you say that, you're seeing reality.
Okay.
And that's very challenging for many people's egos. It's a confrontation to the self that wants to be so important and bigger than the rest of the world.
Okay. I thought they were kind of dark thoughts too, because I know sometimes, I mean, I have kids and I have a family to support, but sometimes I'm like, does it really matter? Like, and I don't want to, I know I'm not depressed or anything like that, but it's just interesting because I do feel those things. I'm like,
this is very different than a thought that I should go from the planet because my existence is inconsequential. The specific thought form that you had was, in the grand scheme of things, I don't matter. And that is your truth that leads you to transcend yourself. But I don't matter to anyone is the opposite sort of a thought. That's a disempowering thought that leads you to lose your sense of source within yourself. So again, you exist because you are fulfilling Source's purpose through existence. But Source doesn't need a specific outcome. Your very existence is purposeful. Yes, from Source's perspective, your existence is just one drop in the ocean. Yet on your own soul's journey of evolution, every incarnation is a chance to peel back some layers of your karma and open to a deeper level of integration. And so if you don't use this lifetime to do that, you'll just do it in a different lifetime. And Source doesn't really care if that's what you choose, but in that way, to leave this incarnation does delay your progress for another time and space. But again, that would matter to you. It wouldn't necessarily matter to Source. Source is so unconditionally loving that Source doesn't really have an opinion or a preference.
Interesting. Thank you so much. one more last question. I had like a thought of quantum trading. What is that to your definition, your perspective? Quantum trading.
It depends on what you mean by the term, but the notion that you are able to predict through the different potential timelines which you are headed on is an interesting proposition, and one that many traders can actually manage at times. And it's important for you to track in your own trades, when did you simply know you were making the right decision, and when did you make the wrong decision? Mm-hmm. What were you guided by in that moment, and what was the level of insistence present? So it has to, again, do with that flow state, that again, once you entrain the flow state, which you do by acting on your highest excitement and having no insistence on an outcome as best you can, you start to activate this synchronicity mechanism where your brain starts to be able to take in information from the world around you and feed it back to you. Of course, it comes through the lens of your own belief systems very often, but when you over time clarify your belief systems in that flow, you are able to pick up on key bits of information and make those right decisions. But again, as soon as you fall into that idea of insistence, of fear, of doubt, and you get attached to the choices you're making, oftentimes you're unable to see that quantum reality that exists right in front of you. So to be able to predict anything, the idea is you have to let go of what it means if you get the prediction wrong, because only when you do that are you truly not attached. And only when you're truly not attached is your mind clear enough to see the quantum reality.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's quite challenging, but I'm working through it. I appreciate all your love and your help.
Great, thanks, and our unconditional love to you as well. It's been wonderful for us to connect in this way.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, yes.
I would like to know what's my current frequency.
100,000 cycles per second.
Okay. This week I'm experiencing increased heartbeat. When I'm in a calm state, sitting in front of my computer, sometimes it rises from usual 60 BPM to about 70 or 80 BPM without any exercise or obvious need. So can you sense what this may be root cause of this?
On a personal level, there is some stress that is arising. There is some situations that are activating your tendency towards insistence and projection and seeking certainty. So part of it is in learning how to embrace uncertainty and learning how to accept that you will understand these situations completely when you need to understand them, and in the moment you don't need to know. On a more cosmic level, there has been a sort of cosmic collective download of a certain energy pattern that is causing certain levels of stress and fear through the collective. There is a greater sense of personal uncertainty and scarcity that many people have recently tripped up on. And this passing wave will ripple through the collective and reach others next week if it hasn't already affected you.
Mm-hmm. And in this situation, what kind of question can I ask myself to find out these beliefs?
What would go wrong that would destroy me? What might happen that would cause me to lose control? What emotion do I not want anyone else to see or perceive within me? And that should help you figure it out.
Thank you very much. Another theme, a couple years ago, oh no, not a couple of weeks ago, actually, I asked you about my surrounding area, surrounding mountains, and you said that there are some significant places with higher energy. Can you be more specific to locate these locations?
Give us the context of that question again.
I asked you about the Manin Mountain, which is close to my home, and is the landmark of this area. And I was interested what's the energy of it and the energetic significance for this region.
And you wanted to know what the higher components of your own connection to it was?
I want to know if there is any high energy points or some spots where I can reach some higher energies that are available around here.
There are many places on that mountain and around this area in general. You might benefit from some particular lakes and springs that have a calming frequency. Certainly, as you allow your body to just walk and move where it's called to go, you will naturally end up in the places that align most with your own energy.
Mm-hmm. So to connect with the nature is
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And can you tell me what's your definition of karma?
Karma.
Karma, yes.
What you put out is what you get back.
Mm-hmm. Because I just heard Bashar's definition of the karma, and it's he said that it's completely self-imposed. So I wonder that if you have a similar
Yes.
definition.
What you put out is what you get back. That means whatever karma is giving to you is simply the energy that you have put out.
Mm-hmm. And how it is related to my other timelines or past lives?
How is your karma? Well,
yes.
In other lifetimes, there's an energetic signature that is mirroring and reflecting your soul. So the idea is that your soul chose this incarnation perfectly as a way to learn and grow, and that these other lifetimes reflect similar aspects of the same soul theme. It isn't necessarily that your problems come from these other lifetimes, but that there is a parallel and there is a mirror. And the fact of the matter is that in this moment, you are responsible for all of the karma of your future, and you are just as much carrying all of the karma from your past. And much of that is for the better. So you can look at what is now as a way of appreciating the results of your past actions. And perhaps another way of looking at karma and noticing this pattern is if there has been somebody who mistreated you in your life, ask yourself, have I treated anyone else in a similar way at another time? If you have a conversation where you feel a little bit thrown off after, ask yourself, have I made anyone else feel this way at another time? Recognize that karma perpetuates itself because the way that you treat other people becomes the way that they treat you. The way that you do your work becomes the way that others do their own efforts when it involves you. The way that you speak becomes the way that other people speak to you. Much of the way that karma plays itself out is just a natural dance of mirroring. Sometimes it isn't just only the people that you interact with that are the ones who return your karma, however. Sometimes the energy that you put out comes back to you from a completely different source and person. So karma is really then about noticing the call and response of your words and actions. What energy comes back to you after you've made a particular decision?
So, can I say that part of my karma is my life team? Or my life team, part of my life team is also karma that I have chosen on a higher level?
Well, you're mixing up too many different concepts, and you really need to understand that the map is not the territory. That's why we said karma is what you put out is what you come back. Karma is what you put out is what you get back, period. You don't need to know more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the notion is, taking it back to our original transmission, is that there's many in this world, in fact, most, are living without Trinity. Many attempt to solve all issues from the level only of the mind. And just as much in the film, Morpheus is often domineering and pushy. His approaches sometimes don't work, but he thinks he knows. And it is the dance between Trinity and Neo that actually allows for the plot to carry on and for the correct opportunities to present themselves. And so just as much, the part of you that tries to know and figure everything out and intellectualize is an obstacle on a journey that requires your heart to courageously guide you and for you to be able to act even when you don't know everything and there is great uncertainty. And so over-intellectualizing is an enemy to spiritual awakening, and trying to understand every concept perfectly will hold you back. You have to understand what it means for you, and you know that you know when you feel it as an energy that doesn't need words. You just know. So karma is what you put out is what you get back. You don't need to make it more complicated. Just if you really want to master this, start to look at everything that happens to you and ask yourself, what did I put out that brought me to get this back? That's all you need. Period. All right, moving on. Next questioner.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Actually, I have two questions. Good day, all. I have been suffering with a flu that has morphed into a sort of chesty business that's very annoying, and I'm a bit tired. And I just wonder if you have any remedies besides the obvious of putting down tobacco for me.
All right. There's plenty. One would be apple cider vinegar, perhaps even fire cider. In the morning, first thing, with a squeeze of lime, warm up your water. This can be a very good thing to get some of this energy running. Ginger, garlic, these sorts of things. Taking a longer, nice and warm shower, doing a little bit of yoga and exercise. It doesn't have to be a lot. For example, just doing one down dog stretch and one gentle back bend is enough to create a subtle shift in your body. Then we would suggest doing some long, slow, deep breathing and holding your breath in for up to 5 or 8 seconds on the inhalation for a few minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you. And my other question is, I've had this sense lately that perhaps I have a new guide, or maybe I'm just feeling the intensity of some of my other guides. I just wonder if you sense that if there's a new force working with me, or if it's just an expansion of some of my old crew.
No, there is a new force working with you.
can we describe it in any way? Like, is it a galactic, or is it a past friend?
This being has a bit of a grandfather energy. It's not necessarily someone that you knew, but it represents that kind of quality of a sort of wise sage. There's a certain hermit-like, humble quality to this guy. They
Lovely.
are both resilient and playful. They tend to be keeping to themselves, and it is a guide that helps you to connect with your own sense of wonder and creativity in simple things that need not overcomplicate the journey. So this is a guide that is bringing you, you could say, back to basics in some ways, and helping you see the magic in the small details. And you notice that this guide is present in those moments.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Much appreciation and love to all of you. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Well, yes.
Okay, I remembered a question that, is it okay if I speak now?
Let's move through the YouTube questions as we haven't taken any of them yet, please.
I did have a question.
Well, we want to take the YouTube questions now to give everyone a chance.
Okay, it was related to one of something that this other gentleman had said. That's why
YouTube questions now, so please be understanding. Thank you very much.
All right. Before the YouTube questions, there was another written question, which is what prevents humans the most from receiving compassion from themselves or others, and how can we remove that block at its root rather than at the symptom level?
Well, what blocks compassion is your own belief system, and the specific belief that is in the way is up to you to discover. Oftentimes, these are beliefs that come from how parents raised you. If you were given love only in certain conditions, you may find that you only give yourself that love under certain conditions. Yet, just as much, these certain beliefs can come from religious groups or schooling structures as well. If there were sorts of behaviors or ways of being that you were not allowed to be in school, or you were taught were not spiritual to be, whenever you start to feel as if you are embodying those qualities, you start to judge yourself and diminish your own connection to compassion. And so you have to really question, what are my specific beliefs? And one of the best ways to see how you judge yourself is look at the people that you judge the most out there. Think of the most extreme political enemies that you have. Think of the people that you might resent the most. Think about the people that you see perhaps and get annoyed by without even talking to them. What do those people have in common? And how can you see that same quality in yourself? Look very closely and be completely honest, because all humans in the end are the same. It's not that you are the same person, but you have all of the different emotional spectrums within you. And it's only when you start to deny some of them that you stop to see them in yourself. So if you can see the kinds of people you judge, you will also see why you're blocking your own compassion.
All right, thank you so much. There's another question. Where does judgment actually originate in the human psyche?
Judgment comes from a sense of ego. It comes from an identity that says, this is me. So when you get enmeshed in this ego story that this is me, there automatically becomes an other that is not you. And if you get very tightly tied into the story of this is me, you will judge all of the other parts of the psyche that contradict the chosen identity structure. So judgment is the attempt of an ego structure in maintaining itself. There is the structure of the ego that are the specific belief systems in place, and then there's the state of consciousness of the ego. That's who you become when you believe that belief structure.
All right, thank you. And there's a follow-up question to the one about compassion, which says, how can compassion become an operating system and not a reaction?
Through the deep and complete compassion that you have for yourself, you are able to move from that state when you meet anyone else. And this means deeply understanding your own emotional responses. It means knowing where your triggers come from and letting it be okay that those triggers are there. It means honoring the waves of emotion that come from within you and holding them, not pushing them away. And when you're able to sit with your own storm and find the calm beneath it, then you're able to have that same non-reactivity when you see emotions and ideas that don't resonate with you in other people.
All right, cool. And there's a question on YouTube, just came in, about a dream. It says, in my dream, I officially received my government-written appointment from the current Korean president and shook his hand. Soon after, I was taken to a banquet hall where top celebrities were present. What does this dream mean? Thank you.
This is a dream that is pointing to your deep vision of success. You've been working towards many things in your life, and you have your own ambitions to reach the top and a goal, to be able to enter into this sort of mythic world of those who are famous and powerful. And so this is your own psyche showing you that this is where you want to be going. You are aiming towards being able to enter that realm of connection with those who perhaps at some capacity mastered their creative gifts, perhaps at some capacity mastered communication, and began to elevate their social standing. Perhaps this means that you want to become a part of that world. Perhaps it means you're working towards that. Or it may also mean that you are finding the elite energy within yourself, that you're coming to see yourself in that same way as a being of light, as a star, literally, as a unique being unlike any others, and that you can hold your own celebrity status by recognizing that you, like everyone, are one with a source and are a channel for that source. And you're just as special as everyone else. It can mean all of these different things and a bit of a blend of them at once, and something completely different if you would like it to mean that as well.
Beautiful. I also have one question myself, which is that this sentence came to me yesterday, which said that that feeling I'm okay is agile and chasing feeling amazing is fragile. And so what I got from it was if you could talk about the potential energy behind feeling okay, if that has some positive energy in of itself, or if we can redefine what that means. Because to me, it feels like that would be very much in the line of the formula, that feeling okay is a very solid baseline that's not depending on specific outcomes, etc. Where a lot of people are chasing feeling amazing or as highly aligned as possible, and that's often from a place of fear, etc., etc. So I'm really curious about your take on this.
Yes, to chase an emotional state is usually birthed out of an intention to suppress another emotional state. It usually comes from a not okayness with what is. And so this line that you've written is perfect in that sense. And it points to something that we believe we will weave in again and again, as it's a very important illustration of why the formula is so important. The Buddha called this the second arrow. You experience a sensation, and then your body-mind reacts to the sensation. The first arrow is the sensation itself. The second arrow is how you respond to it. And so to become a master of not having insistence on outcomes, you have to stop shooting the second arrow. You have to feel the sensation and feel the emotion and believe completely, this is a fine thing to feel. This is a perfect energy to move through me. I am okay with what I'm experiencing, and I'll make it through the other side of it. So you might have at one point stubbed your toe or hurt another part of your body, and you didn't think it was such a big deal. But then you looked and you saw it's bleeding. And all of a sudden, a rush of intense energy moved through your body. At first, it was just a little bit of pain. Now, all of a sudden, you see this mess and the horrors of your insides. You made what was first a little bit of a sensation 10 times worse. And you do this with your emotions as well. And many people flock to supposedly spiritual healing sources and only mess themselves up far worse, because they learn that feeling bad or sad and being at a low frequency means something is wrong with them and they have to fix it first. Again, it's about accepting exactly the state that you're at and changing not what you're feeling, but what you're believing. Awareness of your feelings is what allows you to know what you're believing. And so you change your thoughts, you take a different action, and then you feel better. And this isn't to say that taking an action to feel better is suppressing emotion always. No, it's the same thing. You need to, yes, regulate your nervous system and come into alignment and balance. So there's two ways that you carry out an intention. Say that you're feeling a little bit nervous and stressed out, and you decide to do a different activity. Now, the first key is that you choose the activity that's truly your highest excitement. That's the one that's going to calm you and ground you the most. The next key is that you do it in a way that you're not pushing away, but you're welcoming in. And so someone who feels a little bit out of balance, they may choose to work through this. I want to write about it. I want to go for a run. I want to do yoga. I want to do a meditation. I want to go visit my shaman friend. I want to go see a movie. I want to, etc. Whatever you choose to do, remember you're doing it because you love doing it. But just as much as you feel the love and the connection and the focus in the moment, you're allowed to feel sad. You're allowed to feel angry. You're allowed to feel afraid. And your awareness of these emotions without pushing them away is what allows the beliefs and the energies to completely integrate. The movement towards your excitement is not a suppression of anything. It's a movement towards a sense of wholeness and alignment with what you feel is most essential to you. And again, the idea is that when you keep what's most essential to you close most of the time, you will naturally feel a whole lot better. But you have to, again, become aware of your emotions and embrace and accept all of them. Because even if you are completely following your excitement and you're generating a lot of momentum, but say you still have some insistence that you don't feel a particular emotion, all of that insistence will suddenly manifest from your subconscious in a moment that is most crucial and sabotage your progress, because all of a sudden, in the midst of your momentum, you got angry. And because, according to your beliefs, being angry is not okay, you shut yourself down, you quit everything you were doing, and you put the entire project aside because you start to think this project brought out anger in me, and therefore it is bad because anger is bad. This is how you lose all progress. So recognize, again, as we've said from the beginning, the journey of awakening, first of all, helps you to see that you have an ego in the first place. Once you start to recognize you can change your beliefs, you gradually start to overcome your ego. Once you get good at that, your ego gets better at fighting back. And that is when you have to actually surrender and embrace all of who you are and all of how you're feeling, to let the source move through you to reset your ego. You have to be so completely willing to feel and to be perceived in those feelings exactly as you are.
Well, thank you so much. I feel even more okay after that explanation.
Yeah.
I think we are through with the questions. So I just want to thank you again for showing up and enlightening us and sharing your wisdom. It's deeply appreciated.
All right, yes, sir. Great. Thanks to all of you. We can continue with the other questions, and we just remind for the channel, if you enjoy these transmissions and you benefit from them, support the channel and the donations, and those greatly support everything involved in making this come to you from Zoom and all the other apps and programs needed at this time. We thank you very much, and we ask if there's any other last questions.
Hi, yeah, it's me again, Laura.
All right, yes.
You hear me? Okay. You were talking about karma, and you mentioned something about feeling other people's feelings. So I think, I don't remember if Dante and I had talked about this before, but the word mirror has come up a couple of times in my journeys, and so somebody talked about memory neuron or mirror neurons, and so yeah, I don't know. Can you speak to that about us mirroring other people's? I don't even know if there's a question in there.
Mirror neurons are the part of your brain and nervous system that light up in response to seeing another person do something. So when you're seeing somebody surfing on a surfboard, cooking a meal, burning themselves on a hot plate, etc., your own body sometimes feels that sensation. Some of you feel it more than other people do. This is because the mirror neuron system is firing similar neurons in your own body to make it feel as if you're having the experience as well. And this is key in helping you to better relate to other people and know what they're feeling. But
Okay.
of course, there's a subtle wave of energy that moves between people as well. And when you get involved in the way that you do with energy healing and touch and get more intimately connected with others, you take on more of this energy. You're able to feel it deeper.
Right. Okay. I in my life I've felt it tremendously deeper all the time. Whether and now that I'm understanding it more, I'm able to say, is this my energy? And sometimes I get an answer that yes, it is, or no, it isn't, or whatever, and then I deal with it whatever way I deal with it. So I don't know even if there is a question. Is there a question? It's more about that when I like feeling wishy-washy, because when I'm with one person I can feel a certain way, and when I'm with another person I can feel the opposite way, and it's confused me my entire life of which way I really feel. Does that make sense?
Well, do you know the difference of how you feel when you're alone?
I think so.
So
I mean, I'm right now I'm experiencing a very much alone time. My husband has gone to Georgia for a couple of weeks, I guess, and so yeah, I'm spending more time alone, but I'm not usually alone a lot.
So this is actually orchestrated by the universe in this case to help you know what your frequency is when you're alone. So this is your baseline. This is what happens when other people aren't in your field. This happens not just for you, but for everyone. But you are a little bit more sensitive empathically. So you take in even more energy from other people. Their feelings become your feelings. So when you get to know what your baseline frequency is, you will start to be able to distinguish. My baseline frequency is here in the background, and here is other people's energy coming into me. And what you feel in that moment is the way that your energy mixes with the other person's energy. Your personality actually shifts, and you make many different adjustments to match that person's frequency. To an extent, everyone does this automatically, but also you have to be able to retain your sense of your connection with yourself in this process.
Okay. All right. And is there like a specific words I could use to say,
well,
to myself, okay, you know, whatever, I'm feeling blah, blah, blah.
Remember, it's nothing without Trinity. So it's really about the return to feeling and your gut. It's not about a specific thought. It's about allowing yourself to be aware of what those feelings and sensations are. And so the permission slip that we would suggest most for you is 20 minutes of meditation of your breath at your navel point every day. Just notice your breath rising and falling at your belly. And then when you're around people, just as much, if you start to feel anxious, notice the sensation in your belly and focus on your breath rising and falling. And just by staying with that sensation, you might be able to prevent the intense energy of resistance and emotional charges from building up. And with time, by keeping your awareness on your body, you will be able to make sure that you distinguish this energy is mine, this energy isn't mine, and even create a sort of psychic boundary so that energies that you don't want don't come into your being. But the first route is stepping into a deeper grounding in your body first.
Okay. All right. What was that last thing you said? Besides stepping into my body, right before stepping into my body.
That's the key. Before you are able to create those clear energetic boundaries between self and other and know what's their energy and what's your energy, and also how to consciously block out their energy when you need, not because you need to protect yourself, but because it's a frequency that you don't prefer, then you will be able to, again, consciously choose what energy flows through you and which energy doesn't.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this time too. I appreciate it.
Yes. And certainly we will also say that no matter how good at this you get, you will always feel other people's energy to some extent. So don't think that a master at the idea of energetic boundaries doesn't feel what other people feel. They simply know how to distinguish between this is my feeling, that is your feeling, and this is the space in between where I can take space and distance if I need to.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. I'll work on that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Any final questions? Going once? Going twice? All right. Then we thank you all for co-creating this brilliant interaction and this wondrous interweaving of energies. Remember, you are not just one, you are everything. And you are certainly not just one, but you are multiple. And the three is the key. The three is the access to the formula that we share. It is 3 steps. You act, you make sure you're doing it as best you can, and you let go. You always act from love, and you always open your mind to see what you might be missing, never falling into the ego that mistakenly decides it knows everything. You open up to all of the possibilities, and you accept the process will take as long as it needs to take. And what I'm being given in the moment is exactly what I need, and is most certainly the result of the energy that I've put out into the universe, because I can't get back something I haven't given out. Putting it all together, you realize that you have the power. So continue to take the red pill of listening to your curiosity and opening yourself to something that you haven't known or seen or heard before. That is how you break the cycle and become something new, and become the light you've always been, in a more complete and expansive way at each step of the journey. So our great thanks and our unconditional love to you, and we wish you again a fantastic rest of your day. Yes. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining. Cool. Good to see some familiar faces after or hear some familiar voices after a long time. Thanks for joining again, everybody. And yeah, heartflowtransmissions.com is the new website. You see the YouTube live chat. There's a new book that's out. The recordings of the past 7 years of channeling has been put to 2 channeled books. They're the same book, but one is shorter than the other if you want to have a shorter read that gets right to the point. And so I'd love if you check it out and let me know what you think. And yeah, spread the word, as I really have a lot. I've had some other projects I've been working on. I wrote a memoir, and also I wrote a book that grounds the teachings of the Pleiadian Council and Bashar and a lot of the mystical lineages with neuroscience, and can make it so that people who might be skeptical towards all of these ideas can actually open their minds to it and see that what we're talking about when we talk about the frequency and alignment is actually a real thing, so it's a real thing that they can prove with their facts. And also, when we come from this more metaphysical cosmic framework, to see like the parallel in science is like the synergy. It's the right and left brain hemispheres uniting. It's what allows for that union. So I think that, even people who've heard it all before will really benefit from this, because it opens up a lot of doorways to things that they haven't yet seen before. I've been really just absurdly hyper-focused in trying to get all of this done and bring it out into the world. Like I have had 12-hour days from when I wake up till the night, and then I realize I'm hungry and get kind of a mess for some hours. It hasn't all been glamorous, but I think it serves a higher purpose. And so there's many things that I will be looking forward to sharing with you in 2026. But for now, this channeled book commemorates all of the channeling sessions that have been on this channel over the years, and it's a really deep one, and one that I hope you can check out. I'm always available for sessions, and if you want to donate to support these sessions, it really means a lot and allows me to continue doing this and lighting the world up. So if you can support with the book or with a donation, I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you in one-to-one sessions of the channeling course if you want to go deeper in your journey and work through some patterns and get clarity and healing. The sessions are a great way to do so, and the course is a great way to become a healer and a visionary intuitive yourself. So check out heartflowhealing.com, and if anybody else has some messages they want to share or say hello before I hop off, I'm here.
Hey, Dante.
Hi, Sal. How's it going?
Pretty good. It's been a while, but I just want to say hi and thank you for everything.
Thank you. So
I definitely I haven't been listening to your stuff for months, but I'm trying to get back to it. It's been really crazy, busy.
yeah, I get that. Very busy times. Thanks for hopping back on. It was great to connect again.
Yeah, no, just want to say hi and good to see you, healthy and happy.
Yeah, keeping it vibrant. Happiness is flow. I hope you're really well too.
I am. Thank you.
Yay. Good to see Amanda too. Matej, thanks everyone. Thanks Michael for hosting. Thanks the universe for existing. Thanks to another day. Happy Free Friday, everybody.
So happy to be here. Thank you, dear Dante.
Welcome. Oh yeah, and I was on a podcast. If you joined late, I was on a podcast. I'll put it in the description. It was a really cool conversation exploring healing, metaphysics, thoughts in the spiritual community, and psychedelic
Wonderful. Wonderful. What's the name of the podcast?
It's the Wiki and Famiya show.
One more time?
I'll send you the link.
Excellent.
I'll send you the link and I'll put it in the description because I don't remember the name of the channel specifically, but there's some cool people I met in Iceland some years ago. So
nice.
Yeah.
So much momentum. It's beautiful.
I know. It's crazy.